In a few words, PITECH++ is a company that has offices in Cluj and also in Mureș. And we are working in Drupal for more than 5 years and with more than 30 developers. Today, in this session, I will talk to you about Search API and some of its... I will talk to you about Search API and some of its additional modules in Drupal 7. Okay, so in this century, as we know, we all browse through sites for reading and for searching for information. And this could be also easy or difficult, depending on the website and depending on the search that we are provided with. For example, if any of you from here is searching for example for a laptop, to buy for himself a laptop, it will be easy to go to the desired page because all of you know perhaps what you will need. But if another person that has no idea about computer science or something like that, it will be more difficult for him. So it will be nicer to have searches that could provide us some facets or to guide us to get us to the desired page and the desired product. Almost all websites requires a good and performant search engine, and especially when we're talking about e-commerce websites. Why? Because there we have a lot of products. A lot of products that are a lot of categories, and so this could be like more complex websites. As you may heard this morning in the Drupal about the Drupal session, let's talk about that Drupal actually has a search in core module, but this one it's not so good because it's more slow and it's actually used in websites that are with not so many nodes, in simple websites. And if we have more complicated websites, it's better to have more good search module. As an objective, we would like to find a better way to build our search functionalities. Like it or not, in some cases we are working with different search engines. So as a site builder or developer, we need a way to use a common layer which supports any kind of search engines. If we have that, for sure we need a great performance when we are talking about indexing or searching the data, for example, for back office or front office. For back office, if you have a lot of nodes, it will be nicer to not wait too long until all the nodes are indexing. And for front office, the best example would be the search autocomplete. If a user, for example, is typing a word, we don't want that user to wait too long until all the list is appearing. And it would be nice to complete the core search with a user-friendly interface. Also in back office and front office, for back office to configure the search module, and for front office so the user can easily navigate and to go to the desired product that is searching, a word that it's searching. Here it is, it's a Search API. It's a country module which fulfills almost all our wishes that I was talking about in the objective slide. And it provides a framework for easily creating searches on any entity known to Drupal using any kind of search engine. Here you can see the common layer. It's a diagram for the Search API acts the part of the common layer. At the search level, we shouldn't deal about which engine we are using. We just execute the search and let the Search API to deal with the used service. And here we could actually switch the search to a search engine anytime without thinking about the indexing part, if it messes or not. So what actually we need for that? We need a server which handles the connection to the search engine. We need an index which describes the general information about the data. And we need a page or a view which we can use for searching the content. And the possible APIs to create the connection with various types of search engines. We have various like database service for using the database search, or the Solr service to provide integration with Apache Solr, and also the other that I listed there, like Sapien service or Mongo database service, or the others. And these actually are modules that could be downloaded from drupal.org/projects. And after you download them, install them, and enable them, you can then go and create a server that will use this service and create a relation between the newly created server and an index. And I know that I told you earlier that we can anytime switch to another search engine. But this is not like really true. Actually, it is true, but it will be not very good because not all the servers are having all the supported features. For example, database service are supporting only the autocomplete and the Facet features, but it is also a good. If, I don't know, Junkie Monkey will be here, you know who I'm talking about, the one that implemented this module will be here, will say like, come on and join the dark side. So you can always come and get involved. And but also it's a good, good news that the Solr actually support all the features. And if you want to have a good search, then you definitely have to use this one. But I know that perhaps you're getting bored right now, so I will let Adrian to explain you and to show you how everything works. So, Adrian.
Hello. I will try to show you in live how we can configure a search, how we can use a database. For this, actually, we will use the Search API. The guys told me that maybe it's not the best choice to show everything live because sometimes the people can understand what's happening there. But I want to introduce something like a question. When I explain something, if you can't understand, you can ask, or we will introduce the yes, no, maybe. Okay? If you don't understand, I will explain more. It will be difficult because I can take the microphone without hands, but I need both of my hands to show you what I want to do here. So maybe I ask Claudia to help me. So I just installed Drupal, so we have nothing configured here. The first thing what we have to do, we will go to structures, blocks, and we will disable the search for block. Okay, we don't need that because we want to use the Search API, and we disable the block for the core search. Now, I don't want to lose so many times. What you see here is my Drupal code file. So I will put all the modules what we need. I don't want to download now, but the best way could be to download in Rush. So I will open my site, all modules contrib directory, and I will use all of my backup. Okay. Now music. Yeah. So I will copy all the modules, what I put on backup, and I will copy the config type all modules on the directory. And waiting. So the thing is that we have to download first the Search API module, and we have to activate this. So this will add the layer what Flavia was telling before. So we'll go to the modules, search for the Search API module, enable it. This will need to enable also the entity API, what I already copied with the modules before. Okay, we enable the modules. Now, if we are going to the configurations, we can go to the section for search and metadata. We will see the Search API menu, and here we are. So, the Search API gives the possibility to add a server and create an index. Okay. Something we have to enable because to create a server, we have to add a service which is not enabled at the moment. So we have to go modules and enable also the search. The Solr search service. Okay. And now, if we go back to the configurations, we'll go to the Search API configuration. Now we can add a server with the service what we are activated. Okay. So now we will give a name for the server name. Let's type Solr server. We will enable this. We will, you can add the description and choose the Solr service. And some option about the Solr service here. You can choose which protocol to use, where we can find the Solr, which is the port, and path for that. Again, to use the Solr service, you have to add also the. You also have to download the Solr from the Solr website, and you have to configure that. For this, like I told you before, we downloaded the Search API module. It comes also for the configuration files, the Solr config and the Solr schema XML, which we can find. Search API Solr. We can find the Solr config. We can choose which Solr we are using. I'm using the Solr server 3.5. So I will copy this configuration file, the schema XML and Solr config XML, to my Solr directory. My Solr is installed at this path, so but I made a symbol link from my site, so I can read easily from here. We will use the example Solr config, and you have to add these two files here. Okay, I already added, so I don't want to lose time now with this. Okay, let's start our Solr server. We will start with the jar file. Our Solr server has been started. We can find on localhost and this port, so we can go in the back office. And by default, the module it configures the same port, so we can just create our server. And now, after the activation, you can see our Solr server has been reached, so the server is ready to link with our index. Okay, go back to the Search API configuration, and we can create now an index. The index is which defines how the data right? So, and we have the index, which is the default index created with this Solr Search API model. Now, we configure the server. We want to add some additional configuration to our index. We can check first the status for our index. You see our index is reachable, so it's enabled. Let's see the settings for this. These are the settings what we created before. Now we have the fields. The fields tab is to define which field you want to index, right? So we have a node entity which is added to the index. We want to index like the title. We want to index the the date created. We want to index the node ID, and we can easily select the fields from that entity. Another thing will be, if I will have time later, we can add related fields. Now we have the author here and some other fields which is related with this entity, right? So in the case, if I add a new field like an entity reference, which can reference any entity what we have, then we can add also that field here. That means, like now is the case for the author, we have this field, and you will see. Sorry, I did it before the field said it before, but if you are going down, we can see that we can use also the author name. So I will check this. We can see check the author email. So, and I will check also like the content type and the title. I don't know, maybe node ID. So we have the fields defined what we want to index in the Solr server, and then we can set the type for each field separately. The node ID is an integer, so we will leave it like that. But for example, the content type, we will use the string type, which means that we want to index the word or the text as it is. Okay? Unlike the full text is doing exactly, actually doing something else. That if we have a text, like 3 words in the text, or we have the content body, it will be tokenized and will be indexed like tokens. Okay? So we have, for example, 10 words, it will be indexed each of the words. Not like on in the case of the content type, if we have article underscore something, then it will be indexed in one word. Okay? We can set also the boost for the field. That means when we search, we can set that which field is more important. So if we set, for example, the title to be like 0, then it will be much important than the author name, which is 0. So if I'm searching for a word which is also on the name, the author name, and in the title, then all the nodes or all the entities will be the first which has on the title that word. Okay, let's create this configuration. And now we get on the tab of the workflow. Now the workflow gives some additional options. What that means? So first, we can filter our index with the bundle. That means if I check a filter from here, we have to check below that some additional settings will be added. For example, the bundle filter I have created, then I can search only articles, right? Yes, I will select only those from the selected bundles, so I want only articles. And we have some more options like node access, so we can index also the node access value, exclude unpublished nodes, index hierarchy. Then this is very useful when it's about the taxonomy terms, that we can term also the parent and its parent. So we can index the data hierarchy. And we have some additional options here. And yes, which is very useful for aggregate fields. That means if I activate, you can see below we can define a new field. What that means? I can define a new field. I will add a name, like my, let's say my custom field. Okay, I want to index this like full text, so all the content will be tokenized, and I can add more than one field in one. So that means the data from all the fields selected from this list, like I will select the title, or I will select, I don't know, maybe again the author. Then all the data will be pushed in one field and will be indexed like one field, okay? And later we can search only in, for example, in this field, and we will search in the same time also for the values in the author and also for the values in the title or title. Okay, we get a bit here we have processors. We will not use this for the Solr search because the Solr search server has its own processor, so we can configure there the tokenizers and everything else. This is useful only for example, database search or other search engines. And let's see this configuration. So now we did everything. So if you are going back again to the Search API configuration page, we have the server configured and we have an index, right? So what we have to do, create some content. For this now I will go to configuration. I install the devel or not. Yeah, let's install the so maybe you use the devel and devel generate module. I will use the devel generate to generate some content. Okay, everything is activated. I will go to the configurations. We have here generate content. So I want to generate only articles, and I want to generate the articles with some additional settings. It's not so important now. And if we are going to content, we have all the content generated. And now go back to the configurations. here is the search keys and the search filter, which the main difference is that the search keys will take into consideration the relevance, but the search filter will not. You can select also the fields on which field you want to search. Okay. Let's do this again. Do not select anything, because if you are not selecting any of these fields, you have also the description here. Then it will search in all the fields. say that we have a great model, we have great features for that, and we can do great search pages very easy. So using views, user-friendly, and it's fast because it's solid. So what to say? Yeah, the main idea behind this Search API is, like Flavia told you, that we can use different search servers. So when we want to move to another search line, then we will just go to the configurations and we just create another server. Actually, we activate the module for that, and we just link this server with our index. So it will not affect anything on the front. Just the features which you saw before in the table, that, for example, the database search will not support the or operator, for example, in the table. Okay? Yes?
Do you have any experience with other indexing servers than Apache Solr?
I also, you mean
if you have ever used the Search API with the different indexing servers?
I tried this database search, so but like I told you, I had a lot of problems because there are many features which are not implemented for that. So for me, it was very important to have features with or operators, or for example, the main problem is the database search does not support the zero result. So I couldn't configure this, and actually, I know the database search is better for small size because you don't have to run a Solr behind. But if you want a full configurable search, then the Solr will be the best for this. I don't know if I respond to your questions, or you mean we use another model.
The question was that it's very Apache Solr centric. I am sure that Apache Solr is a very good solution.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if the system is flexible enough to be plugged to a different set.
Yeah, so that's the idea behind this model, to be able to use several search services. So
actually, the question was, the module is flexible enough to be. The module is flexible enough to work with different services, but nobody really uses it.
Maybe the answer is that when you want to build a great search page, then you use Solr. So that's why the Solr is the, support everything, because the focus is on this model, right? But there are other modules which, like the database search or other search services, but this is maybe it's not important as a Solr search. So the idea is that if there are enough people or enough time for this, then it's possible to implement also this. But yes.
How about the open
The Search API support multilingual, so everything will be will be indexed, and you can query with the current language. So
settings are required?
no. I know.
Are these settings easy to export?
You mean the settings of?
You will show us every step we need to do.
Yep.
I want to export the settings.
Yes, the Search API has the support for the features, so you can export every settings. That's why we did also other projects. So everything is exported well, so no problem with that. There is only one thing, right? We have what I didn't show you, that we can use the current search module. This will define a block which actually will show up in a region where you set, and it will show you the search parameters, the word what you search with, and the results, so the count. I found not coming from this model. So this is this setting is you have to configure in the Solr server. So for the Apache Solr, so you have to edit the schema for this, and you can add not filters, but you can configure everything there. Like, let's say, I know this is not the response for your question, but you want to search with 4 parts, right? So you will just edit the schema, and you will add another options there. So everything is depending on how you index the data, right? So like I showed, like I told you before, when we go to the Search API, we edit the index. We are on the workflow, and we have the settings for the processors, right? So the processor means when the data are indexed, then are processed, or is, for example, is tokenized, right? So all the text is tokenized, and you can add several tokenizers, which, for example, will take in consideration the synonyms, which will check for plural forms, or which, I don't know, do some other modification on that data, and I can show you how it looks actually in the database. So everything is depending on the configuration of your Solr server, not on this model, right? So let's see our field. So we are on the Solr configuration page. We can check our field, and here is the title. See? So let's see all the tokens here, and you see how the content is indexed, right? So if we have 2 words in the title, then in the index we will have 2 tokens. So everything depends on the schema, how it's configured.
Okay, and is there a easy way to generate the schema? I mean, it's PHP or XML?
You can edit. So let's see in the code. So we have first, like I said before, the Search API Solr adds the configuration file, so you don't have to create it by yourself. So you can just select which Solr server you are using. I use the file, and I just copied this to configuration. So Solr config is some configuration not related to the field, it's related to how it will be coming to the things and how it will work actually the Solr. And in the schema, if I will open, then here are everything. I mean the data types, how are defined. So you can define string, you can define boolean, binary, and you will see it will use a class. So let's see how we have, for example, just a minute. Okay, so all the fields which will have the text type. So for a field type, you can define an analyzer, and this analyzer can be defined when you index the data and when you query the data, right? So you can define that, for example, when you index the data, then you can have some character filter or tokenizer or filter for stop words, like the words what you don't want to index, and you can define this separately also for the query. So if you want, you can index everything, but when you query the index, then it will not take into consideration that some words, for example. So everything is depending on this configuration. Yeah.
So every language has a stop word file?
That's a great question.
searching for some words and they're in a box, in a body, and have that word highlighted. Is it possible?
Actually, I didn't try this option, but as I saw, if you are going to the configuration for the Search API, you change the row. We have the other option, and
You have an option for
yeah,
the process
we have the option for this.
of cluster discussion.
I think this is what you are looking for. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Can you please show how you created the custom field?
You mean a custom field for?
For Search API, you created my custom field. I didn't.
Yeah. So you have to go